Bonjour, it's Belle again. I'm back with my treasury of fairy tales. And today, let's pick a story, shall we? The Selfish Giant. Giants can be pretty selfish. Let's read Rapunzel. And that one is by the Brothers Grimm. Alright, here we go. There was once a man and his wife who lived in a small house at the edge of a forest that overlooked a beautiful garden. There were all sorts of unusual plants and pretty flowers growing in the garden, and the man and his wife liked nothing better than to sit out on a summer's afternoon enjoying the magnificent view. As much as they liked looking at the garden, they were not allowed to go in it. The garden belonged to a witch, who forbade anyone but her to enter it. One day, the man's wife announced to her husband that she was going to have a baby. Not long after, she became very ill. She lay in bed and refused to eat, and got thinner and thinner. Her husband was beside himself with worry. "There's only one thing that can help me," she told her husband in a tired voice. "And what is that, my dear?" her husband asked, eager to help in any way he could. "There's a strange herb growing in the witch's garden called Rapunzel. If you can get some for me, it will make me well again." That night, the man quietly tiptoed into the garden and made his way to where the Rapunzel herb grew. He bent down and started to pick the ripe green leaves. "How dare you steal my herbs?" a voice suddenly rang out in the darkness. "You shall suffer for this." It was the witch, who stood towering over the poor man with an evil look on her face. No fear of those. "Oh, please," he stammered. "I didn't mean any harm. But my wife is very ill, and the only thing that will make her better are the leaves of the Rapunzel herb." "I see," said the witch, thinking for a moment. "All right," she finally said. "You may take as much Rapunzel as you wish, but only on the condition that when your child is born, you must hand the infant over to me." It was a difficult choice to make, but fearing that his wife might die, the poor man agreed to the witch's demand. After eating the Rapunzel leaves, the man's wife did get well again, and a few months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. No sooner had the couple wrapped their child in a blanket than the witch appeared to claim her prize. "I believe this child is mine. I think I'll call her Rapunzel, after the herb that you stole from my garden," she cackled loudly. She grabbed the baby from the mother's arms and whisked her away into the forest. And then ate her. Just kidding. As Rapunzel grew up, the witch made sure she neither saw nor spoke to any other living person. Fearing that she might try to escape, the witch put... Hold on, why did she want her so badly if she's just gonna, like, keep her up in the tower doing nothing? I don't understand, like, wouldn't she want her to be like her slave or something? Fearing that she might try to escape, the witch put Rapunzel at the top of a tall tower that lay deep in the forest. There were no stairs, only one small window and no door. Despite these harsh conditions, Rapunzel seemed happy enough, singing to herself all day long and feeding the little birds that came to sit on her windowsill with small crumbs of bread. Rapunzel had never had her beautiful hair cut, so by the time she was put in the tower, her hair was thick, golden, and very, very, very long. Once a day, the witch delivered Rapunzel's food. She'd stand at the bottom of the tower and call up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair." Rapunzel would throw down her plaited hair that reached right to the bottom of the tower. Then the witch would climb steadily up. After the witch had delivered her food, she climbed down the same golden rope. One day, a young prince was riding through the forest. As he rode, he heard someone singing nearby. The voice was so lovely, and the song was so beautiful, he decided to find out where it came from. It seemed to be coming from a small tower that stood nearby. The prince got off his horse and looked for a door, but after searching thoroughly, he could find no entrance to the tower. They're gonna fall in love, I just know it. Just then he heard footsteps behind him. He hid behind a bush and saw a witch walking toward the tower with a tray of food. When she got there, she called up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair." A long plait of golden hair fell from the small window at the top of the tower. The witch began to climb up slowly. A short while later, the witch climbed down the hair rope, and disappeared into the forest. "So that's the way," thought the prince. He went to the foot of the tower and called up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair." The hair came cascading down, and the prince began to climb up. This is getting good. When he reached the top, he found that the hair belonged to a beautiful girl. She told him that her name was Rapunzel. Clearly, they liked each other very much and talked for hours. When it was time for him to leave, he said to her, "I wish I could take you with me." "I wish so too," said Rapunzel, "but that can never be. Please leave now. I don't know what the witch would do to us if she were to find you here." The prince climbed back down Rapunzel's hair, vowing that he would see her again. The next time the witch climbed up the hair, Rapunzel winced. "Ouch!" she cried. And before she could stop herself, she said, "Why can't you be more gentle like the prince who came to see me?" Oh, snap. When the witch realized that someone else had been to see Rapunzel, she went blue in the face with anger. "How dare you talk to somebody else?" she screamed. She grabbed Rapunzel by her hair and dragged her out of the tower and into the deepest, darkest part of the forest. Then she cut off all her hair and left the poor girl sobbing on the forest floor. The next day, the prince returned to the tower. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair," he called up. The hair dropped down, and the prince climbed up. Once at the top, he didn't find Rapunzel, but the witch, who had tied Rapunzel's hair around the windowsill. "So," she cackled softly, "you're the young man who has been tempting Rapunzel away." Before he could answer, the witch leaped on him with a great scream and pushed him out of the window. Luckily, he landed softly in a thorn bush. He landed softly in a thorn bush, but the thorns had scratched his eyes so much that he could hardly see. He stumbled deeper into the forest, not knowing where he was going. After wandering around for hours, the prince heard the faint sound of singing again. He let himself be guided by the voice, which led him straight to Rapunzel. That's sweet. It's nice to know. You know, your love will always find you. "Oh, my poor prince," she said, "how happy I am to see you. But what has happened to your eyes?" After he told her how the witch had thrown him out of the tower, Rapunzel gently bathed his eyes in the waters of a nearby stream. She then squeezed the juice of a special berry onto them that would help make them better. When the prince was well enough, he and Rapunzel found their way out of the forest and back to his castle. They were married at once and lived happily ever after. The prince's father, the king, banished the wicked witch from his land forever, and she was never seen or heard of again. So, if you like that story, if you liked Rapunzel, out of my treasury of fairy tales that is retold by Nick Ellsworth. Rapunzel was a story by the Brothers Grimm, and was told out loud by me, Belle. So if you liked that and you enjoy me spreading education to the world and such, you can like this video, you can subscribe, and you're gonna get more. If you can leave me a comment and tell me if there are any stories you would really like me to read to you. I am all for spreading, you know, knowledge, and I love stories. So let me know. I'm going to continue to read out of my treasury, but I'm sure there's all kinds in here. But if there are any that you think would be really fun, that you would love to hear, let me know and I'll see what I can do for you. Okay, keep reading, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye. That would help. That would help make them better. Why can't I read? That would help. It's so funny. Okay.